this is a collective reading. Not everything will resonate, so please only take what resonates and leave what doesn't. If you don't find any messages in this piece out, then please check your other placements where you are likely to find a message in there. Now, today's reading is a little bit different. The last few readings have been quite heavy full of energy, so I figured I would go with something a little bit more light-hearted. And we're looking at what is coming in that you'll be celebrating. So, Spirit, can we get some cards for Leo for what is coming in that they will be celebrating? It's coming in for you. Okay. So, we have what's going on in your home environment, what's going on at work or to do with your finances, relationships, your inner self, what's unexpected and what is expected. So let's get into this. So in your home environment, we have the Judgment card. Now, this is suggesting to me that you celebrate it, or what you've got to celebrate is the fact that someone doesn't or isn't making a decision. Maybe they're holding off making a decision on something at the moment, and that's giving you cause to celebrate. Well, not sure what that decision could be, but it is a big decision. Maybe there's not information there. But yeah, it's something that somebody is currently putting off. Could be you putting off a decision with regards to your home, and putting off that decision will lead you to celebration at some point. So let's get some clarity on this Judgment card. We've definitely got a decision here that needs to be made, and it just feels like there's not enough information to make that. Yeah, I've got a Justice in the reverse as well, and I've got a Hangman in the reverse. Now, it feels to me here that the decision is going to be a little bit selfish or one-sided. I feel like it's something somebody's not going to be happy about it. Someone's going to feel like it's an unfair decision. But actually, it's a decision that looks like it needs to be made, and it's being made, and it doesn't include other people. So it does suggest that there could be a little bit of I want to say a selfish decision that you're making with regards to how it just affects you. You're not really bothered about how it affects other people in your environment. So that's like family, friends, and it feels like that to you is a bit of a celebration. Maybe you've put other people first, potentially. Now, it could be that you are putting off making this decision. It could be that you are trying not to be unfair to somebody and not be selfish about something. And I do have a feel, it feels like to me like somebody feels like something's very unfair. With this Justice in the reverse, someone feels like it's very unfair, something that's happened. And it's very tunnel visioned how things are being looked at. But I feel like it's going to benefit you in the long run. Whatever this is, whatever this decision is, it might be the fact that there's a delay in it is benefiting you. And I do feel like it's because it's not made in someone else's favour. I feel like the decision is very much, it's putting an end to something that needs to be put an end to. And that in itself is going to be celebratory. The fact that somebody doesn't agree with the ending or what's happening with this ending, that's not necessarily your problem. I do feel like it's somebody else's problem that they need to learn and grow, that they've had a door closed and they need to move through to a new one. I do feel like if it is you that is feeling like a decision's being made that's unfair towards you, and you're looking at it in a little bit of selfish light, at some point you will see the benefit from this. This is a decision that is going to benefit you, and it is very much, it's like a judgment, that last kind of decision on something, but it's just delayed at the moment. It is going to come, like I say, but it is just delayed. And when it does happen, it is going to give you so much to celebrate about. Whether it's an ending that you wanted, whether it is an outcome that you wanted. I feel like it's more an outcome that someone else doesn't want. But I do feel like it is going to give you cause for celebration. We then have a 10 of Cups in your work environment or your finances. So that is very much suggesting to me that you're going to have a lot of enjoyment in the workplace potentially. There's a lot of harmony, there's a lot of hope, there's a lot of emotional fulfillment going on. So whatever you're doing, whether it's actual in a workplace, whether it's self-employed work, whatever's going on, you're absolutely loving, or you will be loving your job. Now I've got a 2 of Pentacles, so you might have been juggling a few things. There could even be some childlike energy going on here within the workplace. And even though you're trying to juggle things, you are enjoying that juggling. It might not be successful, but you're still enjoying it. I've got a King of Wands here as well. So you do feel like you've got a lot of skill, a lot of drive, and let's face it, that is very much a fire card, Leo. So it does feel like it's you taking control, taking command, taking the lead on something, forging your way ahead within a workplace. I've got a Queen of Swords in the reverse. So it could potentially be, you might be, how do I put it? I feel like you've got another person, whether it's the same person, maybe a friend potentially, that doesn't necessarily agree with what's going on, and they're quite harsh with their words. They're quite cutting about it. A little bit, yeah, very harsh with the words, and it feels to me like they're making stuff up as well, with it being in the reverse. But you're going to have a lot to celebrate, and I just feel like you've got a hater hanging on. Very much so. It could have even been that you were doing some work with them and you ended up taking on more than they did, and they're just not particularly happy about it. And then obviously you getting the praise and being recognised for your efforts, and they're trying to take the glory, is what it feels like. But either way, you're having an absolute blast at work. You're going to be loving it. You're going to have a lot of emotional fulfillment here, which is lovely. In romance, we have 7 of Wands, love, relationships, whatever we want to put this down as. So it feels to me like you're defending yourself a lot. Now, whether that is against people or whether that's just within your own head, I'm not sure. Get clarity. What's this 7 of Wands, Spirit? So it could be that you're berating yourself, saying you're not good enough for something. And then obviously you're going to be defending yourself in your head if, you're talking to yourself like that. It could be that you are fighting off competition. It could even be that you're having a lot of arguments. Okay. Oh, interesting. So I've got an 8 of Wands here. So there's potentially a lack of communication going on. Maybe miscommunication, no communication at all, a lack of, or just poor communication. I've got 4 of Cups, suggesting that you've learned what it is that you want. You know exactly what you want. You know what's good for you, and you are ready to go towards it. You're no longer waiting. But I have you doing some healing here. I feel like whatever this conflict is, I don't feel like it's with a person. I feel like it's within yourself, about a person, about what it is that you want, how to communicate it, potentially. because you're not moving forward here. This is very much a lack of communication, no movement. I feel like you want to move towards them, but you're potentially aware that they're healing or you're healing, and you need to do that first. So this Seven of Wands, it doesn't seem like it's bad. I feel like you're starting to, it's all about realizing what it is that you want and what's good for you, and doing that healing. And I feel like that's very much what this is representing. Yes, you're going to be doing you might be doing a bit of overthinking. Then yes, you're standing up for yourself, but it's not in a bad way. It's very much putting yourself first, working out what your wants and your needs are, putting those into boundaries and keeping to them. And I don't think that's bad. I think it is something that you to celebrate. Maybe you were somebody that let your boundaries down before, let people walk over them. Maybe you just didn't know what it was that you wanted. And you could have been very unhealed as well, because this is definitely some serious healing going on. Now, in your inner self, I've got the Hermit in the reverse. So this is suggesting to me that if you've been on your own, you are ready to come back out from being on your own and, enjoy other people, be social again. It just suggests to me that you've potentially been doing a lot of inner realizations. You've been doing a lot of inner work there. That Hermit is very much very wise. And it just feels to me like you've been doing a lot of thinking about things and some of the realizations here. What is this Hermit spirit? So I've got Ten of Swords in it right, and a Three of Pentacles in the reverse, and a Five of Wands. So we are talking walking away from betrayals, realizing that you can self-sabotage yourself, very much realizing about self-sabotage and learning about what, different red flags are, things like that within other people. So big lessons that you've been learning and you're now able to walk away from them. I do have a Three of Pentacles here. This is very much about a card of working on your own. So potentially learning about working as a team, working solo, what the difference is with, being around other people, what you need to contribute as a team potentially. So in a workplace, what do you need to contribute? In a relationship, what do you contribute? What do you bring into yourself? How much effort do you put into yourself as well? And I've got a Five of Wands here, so it is suggesting that you have been going through a bit of inner conflict here, very much potentially competing with yourself. Maybe you've got in your head that you could have, like I say, over here, you might be doing the whole thing if you're not good enough. In fact, was it there or was it over here? I'm not sure which one it was in. But again, that's very much conflicting energy. It was this one, wasn't it? The Seven of Swords. Sorry, Seven of Wands. Very much, it's competing with yourself, thinking somebody else is better than you. That's all in your head. It doesn't mean that somebody's better. It's just what you think and what you perceive. So it's very much you going through a lot of conflict and a lot of turmoil. And with this being a South card, it's all something you're doing within yourself, but it's potentially not even real. It's just conflict that you're constantly battling with. It could be different ideologies within yourself. It could be different perceptions that you might have. I mean, you could even be somebody that you might have your ego and your intuition completely battling it out. It is very much internal conflict, and it feels to me like you are walking away from it, because that is your self-sabotage at the end of the day. You're but learning what to put your energy into and what not to, so that you can move forward and go and rejoin the population if you've been hermiting for a while, but definitely you're learning what it is that you need to do, and you're ready to move forward and get back out there and start seeing people, socializing, not necessarily isolating like you may have been, which is beautiful and definitely, something to celebrate. Now, the unexpected, I've got a Six of Wands. So this is very much popularity, a card of being acknowledged for your work, being seen, celebrated. What is this Six of Wands for? Now, this could have something to do with work. So I've got a Nine of Pentacles here. So potentially, if you were single, you may not be very soon. I've got Temperance in the reverse. So it is suggesting that there's a little bit of a lack of harmony here with the Queen of Pentacles. Interesting. So I feel like somebody's starting to see your worth, starting to recognize your worth. It could have been somebody that was dependent on you, and that it might not be you. It might not be you going into a relationship. It could have been somebody that was very dependent upon you, or it could have been somebody that perceived you as being dependent upon them. It does feel like they may be starting to see your worth. There's some disharmony. Potentially, there may have been a falling out. Maybe it could even be that there's been a loss of faith here, possibly to do with the loss of home as well. The Queen of Pentacles in the reverse is very much, she likes the finer things in life. She doesn't necessarily have the money to get it. She doesn't necessarily want to work for it. She wants people to give it to her. And sometimes she's not really into homebodying. When she's in the reverse, she's not interested in making a cozy home life or anything like that. And I feel like somebody is seeing your value with regards to that. And you're seeing it as a big success that you're finally being recognized for that. Now, what you are expecting, I've got an Eight of Wands in the reverse, which is this lack of communication or no communication again. So the same here for in the relationship area. So whether or not these two are related, I'm not sure. So what's this Eight of Wands, Spirit? Four of Pentacles in the reverse. Okay, so you're releasing something for someone. Nine of Swords, something that you've been having sleepless nights and a lot of anxiety about potentially, and you are moving on. So yeah, so it feels to me like you may have cut somebody out, you may have stopped talking to someone. You are very much healing from this, you're releasing them. There could have been some, like I say, sleepless nights, stress, anxiety, whatever it is that you may have been holding on to. You're very much letting it go here, and you are moving on into something that's going to be calmer, more collected. And I do feel like that's what's going on up here in this love situation. You know, you've stopped talking to somebody potentially. There's a lack of communication. You now know what it is that you want. You know what's good for you. You're healing, you're going into a calm space coming out of that conflict. So I feel like these two are very much related. I don't know about the rest of them, I'll be honest. I do feel like this one could be related to this one because the Queen of Pentacles and the Queen of Swords can be just as nasty as each other. But it is, that Nine of Pentacles is making me think it's possibly not. Unless you are having a lot of partying. The Nine of Pentacles can also represent somebody that is very good, very skilled at their work, but they get a lot of money, but then they spend it. They're very reckless. They're quite wild with their behaviour. So it could even be that. Maybe you're going out doing a lot of partying and somebody's not particularly happy with it, but you don't care because somebody's seeing your worth, or people are seeing your worth, people are celebrating you, and it's literally a celebration. And if somebody doesn't like that you're being celebrated, or that you've done something and people are seeing your worth, then that says more about them. Because let's face it, if you've done something worth celebrating for, then surely they should be happy for you and should be celebrating with you, you know? All right, let's get you some Moonology cards to see if we can work out a rough idea of times on when any of this could be happening. We've got full moon in Virgo. You are good enough. That feels to me like this is the romance in the inner self as well. So when's that? Is it February? January? February? Something like that? February, March? I'm not sure. Meditate and contemplate. New moon in Pisces. Work through your fears. New moon in Scorpio. And a personal issue reaches a conclusion. Full moon in Cancer. So they could happen any time around any of those. They may not. They could happen at any time, but these could be very much some timings that they could be very, very relevant to. I hope you enjoyed your reading today, Leo. If you did, don't forget to hit your thumbs up button. It will help pass the message on to anyone else that needs to hear it. And if you want to hear more from me and you haven't subscribed already, if you press that subscription button and press the notification bell, it will let you know when I do post new content. To those of you that have subscribed already, thank you very much. Your subscription is greatly appreciated. It helps the channel grow and helps to pass those messages on. So thank you very much for your support. Thank you for joining us.